G'day YouTube. As you know, I am a bit interested in the local weather, and therefore thus and because my little kidlets have kind of upgraded my weather station for Father's Day. So what we now have is a sensor frequency 917 megahertz, sensor transmission range 100 meters, time display 20 or 24 hours, continuous up to 2099, date, day, month, alarm, dual function with snooze, not using that, forecasting sunny, partly sunny, cloudy, rain, storm, barometer, 12-hour history, temperature, degrees Celsius, degree Fahrenheit, indoor and outdoor, temperature range, inside 0 to 50, outside minus 20 to 60 plus 60, humidity percent indoor and outdoor, moon, phases thereof, wind speed kilometers per hour or miles per hour, wind speed range 0 to 256 kilometers per hour. I think I'll be blown off the hill by that. Wind direction 16 points on the compass, rainfall millimeters or inches, rainfall goanna about a meter. Battery indicator tells if it's low. So that's what they gave to me for Father's Day. At this point in the time, I don't actually know what it cost. But there's my daughter's tent. And you know what? Old mate Swamp Wallaby. Here you can see not only the Swamp Wallaby, but you can also see where I have been repairing spontaneous, random, wind-generated tears in the fly on my daughter's tent. So maybe she's forgiven for thinking that she needed to hit the internet and buy for me a weather station which cost more than $100 bucks. Well, shit, oh dear, golly gosh, gee darn sucks. If she wants to give that to me for my Father's Day present, yeah, I can cope with it. I think my son's suggested to me that he's going to buy her the LED headlight bulbs and wire up her LED headlight bar as his birthday present to her, because today she turned another year. She's just gone around the sun, right? And my kids get along pretty well. It's really nice. I like it. And yeah, how are you going? Yeah, I can cope with this. Right, I'm going to go and play with that. Yeah, don't you go talking to me like that. So anyway, there we go. Set up for afternoon use. So anyway, guess who's been installing the new weather station? And guess who's been hacking the new weather station, making it do things that it didn't actually get designed to do? Yes, I've been doing that. You okay? You can't eat the camera. I keep telling you can't eat the camera. So here we go. Look at this. Because I have problems with drop bears trying to kick off from that tree up there, or maybe that tree up there, and they try and glide down onto the top of this. I have affixed glow in the dark, actually non-skid paint or tape. Now, I attached it to the rain gauge, I attached it to the crossbar, I attached it to those crossbars before I realised that I could actually take off and I could get that kind of effect. So, yeah, if you are a sugar glider up there on top of that tree in the middle of the night, hopefully you will see the pieces of glow-in-the-dark paint, and that might perhaps maybe possibly prevent you from trying to land on top of the new $115 weather station that my kidlets gave to me for my Father's Day present. And yeah, okay, Father's Day was the first Sunday in September here in Australia, and it's now the 16th, which means that this morning I got up and took coffee and muffins across to my daughter on her birthday for breakfast. And therefore, thus and because, I am the sort of individual who has, before installing it, pre-marked the anemometer cups with 3 120-degree segments shaded black with a Sharpie, so that when you stand sufficiently far back, as it rotates, in theory, you should get to see the black segment rotating clockwise on the right hand side of the anemometer display. But, you know, guess who may well have had their hand on it a bit too hard while thinking up that particular individual wrinkle, so to speak. And yeah, we've got kangaroos courting on the lawn, but all that in a bag of potato chips. I'm pretty pleased with this. If you look really bloody hard, you'll see there's little pieces of glow-in-the-dark reflective paint all the way around the sender unit from the anemometer. There's glow-in-the-dark reflective paint all over the top of what they call the Stevenson house, which holds the thermometer hygrometer, and we have glow-in-the-dark paint on top of the wind direction sensor. So whichever way it's all facing, this should perhaps, possibly, look like it's not a branch or a branch top with a sugar glider trying to land on. And that's a big thing, because twice I have had my weather stations pretty much destroyed when they've been landed on in the middle of the night by a sugar glider pretending to be a drop bear. So there you go, and now you know that's how to properly hillbilly hack thy weather station. Hello, you a good girl? Hey, you a good girl? Yes, you are. You're a good girl. Thank you. So there you go, that's the actual Humpty Doo weather station. And that says we have a westerly wind of 0 miles per hour. And we go over there, and that's what we've got. Anemometer doing bugger all. wind direction gauge looking for instruction. To be honest, it's really difficult to become more accurate than a feather on a string. Blowing in the breeze. Sometimes life is like that. How accurate, how precise do you want to be? Do you really need to know what direction the wind is actually going to go? Right? Because you can get really obsessive. You can spend well over $100 and you can find that looking at a feather dangling on a string with a counterweight can be a whole lot more accurate than the very best bright, shiny landfill technology can come up with. 1 kilometre from the north. And the feather says it's coming from the south. That's pretty funny, don't you think? Hey? And the really funny thing is, I have absolutely no idea how it comes to be that somebody a quarter of the planet away can make money on manufacturing a gadget like that, exporting it to Australia, selling it to my daughter for only $115. We are the most decadent residents the planet has ever had to tolerate. I'm so sorry for what we're doing to future generations. Here I am with a fucking weather station so I can measure 9 different functions of what's happening. And in 1961, my very first bloody lungful of air had 319 parts per million of carbon dioxide. For 20 million years, up until 1750, the absolute range was 150 to 285 parts per million. In 1750, when we started burning coal in Europe, in the Northern Hemisphere, it was 275 parts per million because the Roman Empire had made some steel by using charcoal. In my lifetime, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has gone up by 25%. I can remember when we used to get 3 foot of rain every 10 years. I played in 1964. In 1974, it stopped me from going back to boarding school after a home weekend, and I was stuck here for a week. There were people skiing to work on the footpaths of Glen Innes because they owned snow skis and they thought it would be a smart arsey thing to do. In 1984, I was charge nurse of the Vegetable Creek Hospital at Emerville. I had 4 days off. I booked my car in to have its heater installed. The heater my father bought when he bought the car in 1961 when I was born. And in 1984, while they were putting the heater in, we got 3 foot of snow. 1994, 18 inches. 2004, 9 inches. 2014, 6 inches. Last time we had 3 inches of snow, people drove from Grafton, 110 miles, 190, Grafton's 98 miles. The coast's about 110 miles away. They drove from the coast up here to look at 3 inches of snow and show it to their kids. I'm playing the most artistic game of Titanic deck chairs I can imagine to contrive to organise. Yeah? In a society where I can get, or my daughter can get and give to me, a 9-function weather station to tell me what's happening now, right here. And I live on the outside edge of a society of 8 billion complete fucking idiots who are literally, seriously still trying to grow the economy and feed the environment to their busyness model and see how much profit they can make before the wheels fall off the environment and all of us die. It's not fucking sensible, is it, mate? Like, what do you think? Hey? What do you think? You probably think I should pick up your biscuit and give it back to you. Don't you, hey? Because it's your biscuit. You have every entitlement to eat it. Do you know how many wallabies and kangaroos have been kicked off how much land so somebody could make more money growing wheat, which was ground into flour and baked into biscuits? Why the hell shouldn't you get to eat the biscuits? It's the least we can do. Cast your bread upon the wildlife. Try and maintain something as a remnant so that after the industrial barbarianism disappears up its own collective arsehole, there is something left from which to attempt to regenerate what's left of the ecology. Quite literally. There is no other game in town. In the meantime, hack your weather station. Put glow in the dark sticky tape on it. See if you can try and stop your weather station from being beaten up by the drop bears. Warble's on a lot to YouTube, and yes, guess who might be a little bit ethanol afflicted. Ciao.